Hey, how's it going, guys? DJ F here. Smash the like button, and we're going to be talking about 808s and how to mix them.
Traptendo.
Make sure that you are listening on studio monitors or headphones. Please do not listen to it on a laptop speakers or whatever. So, anyways, let's play it in 3, 2, 1. This is a lo-fi track as well, so I'm putting that disclaimer out. Yeah, 808's hum. So the first things first that I want to talk about in terms of like 808s is, 808s are a part of the 60 hertz low frequency. So in terms of that, they make up a good amount of the body of your track. They usually make up like your kicks and stuff like that. Kicks, your bass, like bass guitar, or just like a subwoofer, sub bass, or sine wave at a lower octave, or just an 808, which is a sine wave played and tightened up through the ADSR. So now the person that asked me about the concept of the 808 and how it should be mixed or whatnot was Eavesdrop. So shouts out to him. Now the main thing about 808s is again that they are going to make up a lot of the body of your track. If I was to pull out the 808 in itself in this track, let me go ahead and highlight this area real quick in the playlist. Bass drops right here. See, it's like it's missing something. That's usually when you find that something is missing in your track, it's usually because you don't have a lot of 60 hertz in your track, which is your lower frequencies. And in this concept itself, people tend to ask me, well, where should your 808s sit? And my answer to that is it's subjective taste. It just depends on you at the end of the day. Give or take that the rule is that you don't want your 808 to drown out everything else. And pardon me, I'm going to go ahead and make this a part of the demonstration here. There we go. That way I don't lose my where I was at on my mix. And if you take or if you have too much 808s or whatever, it will drown out other frequencies, and even will get into your mid and high frequencies and drown them out as well. So let me go ahead and play that now. As you can see, the 808 itself started taking a little bit more of the frequencies. That really doesn't sound that bad to me. And if you also use certain other guidelines, as far as like I have a tutorial about leveling, you will know when your 808 it might be a little bit too much in your mix. If you use the other guidelines as far as like your main melody, which my main melody right here is this, which is the sample. So as you see, as the bass hums out there, the 808 itself is still a bit under the main melody or the sample, and so it won't really overtake it, but it seems like it's a bit too much. So that's why I rolled it down, because the 808 in its own is being processed through Camel Crusher, which is a fine free plugin, which is available on my website and on the free download section. And if I was to take that out or whatnot, a lot of those lower frequency content that it is being distorted or reshaped would change, and more clarity will be brought forward. So I do have it bypassed right now. Now, as you see, I have with Camel Crusher not activated and doing its sense of compression, now it is overtaking that main melody. So, you know, you want to kind of be leery of that because of the concept of peaking. Peaking, use that, and it will, peaking becomes a difficult thing if you don't have an audio interface. This is why I always recommend that you have an audio interface to check out your metering and be able to see it from a visual aspect. Give or take, again, that your kicks are a part of your lower frequency content, you might not want your 808 that loud if that's not what you're aiming for, because again, you're taking away from the clarity of your track. When you go to a bigger system, bigger speakers will be able to capture that 60 hertz a lot better than your headphones or perhaps your studio monitors that you're working on. In the studio, you can see my studio monitor right here, this yellow cone, which is the KRK Rocket 5s. They have moderate bass response, and the whole entire theory behind that is because I am in a small room, that's why I have some 5-inch speakers. But you want to make sure that you conceptualize how your 808 is, and sometimes you might have to test that out. So, you know, there's just no real type of formula there. But you also want to just make sure when you're leveling, again, you might want to check that out. I have a playlist called Mixing in FL Studio. And rather, this will work in any other DAW other than just FL Studio, these concepts. Now, if I was just to turn it down, you know, and mind you, I have Camel Crusher off, which will give it that added distortion to the 808. As you see, by me rolling it down to like negative 8.2, now the sample itself is heard a lot more, but that doesn't mean the 808, the presence of the 808 is gone. Now, why use Camel Crusher? Why am I using Camel Crusher? I'm using Camel Crusher to make up, again, reshape the 808 so that it has more presence in the 60 hertz without sacrificing or overtaking that main melody. But you'll know it's there, and it'll be harder because it's being reshaped and being reformed. And by it being reshaped and being reformed, it has other frequency content now, like in the 1 kilohertz, which is your mid range. So you actually have more presence. Now, as you see, I added Camel Crusher in there, and it automatically dropped the 808 down to there. And now you could still hear the melody, and you can still hear the 808, but now the 808 seems a lot bigger, but it's being distorted, being reshaped, and it's changing the attributes of that 808 and giving it a louder sense because of the middle frequency content being changed. Now, you could give it more. It has more room, presumably, in the levels. So. But and I tell you this with precaution. Now that it's been distorted, the properties again have been changed. So now you can hear that it's kind of overtaking certain other frequencies in this part of the beat, because now the mid presses, because of some of the light frequency content, there's a chance of phase cancellation. And I tell you this because if I was just to play this melody now, you can hear that it has a bit of 60 hertz in it, and you don't want that 808 to take over or phase cancel or muddy the track, which is an arbitrary term that a lot of engineers use. And you just want to make sure that the clarity is there. And you can actually hear that. More so if in lo-fi, which I have a vinyl strip on here because I wanted to use it low fidelity. And the purpose of lo-fi in general is for you to have sort of a low quality mix, but at the same, at the perception or at the strength of just listening purposes of that concept. But if I was to turn it off, with that plug-in vinyl strip off, which is for low fidelity mixing, you can see that you have that clarity there. So you got to keep in mind of what you're using in your master bus at the same time when you are mixing a track, because that does affect the overall levels of everything else that is in the mixer bus versus the master bus. As you see, when I turned on, as you see, when I turned on a vinyl strip, you can see the cut off of certain higher frequency content within the in the 12 kilohertz. Oops, sorry about that. In the 12 kilohertz, that now you have less room to work with. But now it's just the fact that you just want to continue to grind out what the sound is when you're messing out the levels, when you're mixing the levels. So with that, you gotta be very conscious of how, when you distort your 808s, and that that once you start hearing it kind of overtake your melody or whatever, that there's a slight chance of you having phase cancellation or whatever. Now it's all about taste. It's all about how you want your overall sound to your overall track to sound, but make sure that you take those precautions so that you do not overdo it. But that is just basically it there. You know what I'm saying? It's just all about hearing what you want and making sure, that it will work in other aspects or whatnot. It's better to play it safe. And in short, is you don't want your 808 to... And what I did there was I turned on the kick, because the kick in its own is also in the 60 hertz realm there. So you're going to experience or get your low frequency punch when you use your kicks anyway. So make sure that you know that, and that you just take that precaution or whatnot. So if you like this video, give it a like. If you have any comments, please leave a comment. Let me know of anything else that you want me to cover in terms of 808s. If you want more information about 808s and as far as creating them and all that, I have a older playlist called The House, or I think it might be called The Church of 808s and Bass. I probably might sling that in there, do some more videos for that, because people like that series. I don't know. But anyways, I'm DJ Av. Y'all have a good day, and hopefully this was helpful to you. And I will be back shortly talking about low fidelity and all of its pluses and coolness about it. I'm out. Have a good day.
Crab Tendo.